Hospital is a mysterious and amazing English-Spanish-Portuguese word. We have a common usage definition for hospital, and the word has existed for over 500 years. As of this posting date, we do not know the origin of the word, nor do we have an adequate etymological explanation. The mystery remains unsolved with no literal, morphological, or historical definition for hospital. Welcome to Amazing Adventures in Linguistic Archaeology. I am Tom Chergara and this is Proto Linguistics. In and via the word hospital, we will take you to the very origins of human speech and vocabulary in the Proto language. With unquestionable confidence, we can say that the morphemes and phonemes in hospital belong to the earliest words of humans, perhaps dating back to at least 50,000 years ago. The root theme in hospital is aspa, and that remains at the core of three major linguistic families: the Indo-European, the Afro-Asiatic, and the Dravidian. With asp or aspa as an early time word, linguistically we are very close to the origins of speech. With that introduction, let us travel to the Southwest Asia and back to the pre-civilization periods of our ancestors. The ultimate roots of hospital exist with very similar semantics and syntax in the three linguistic traditions: the Arabic, the Indic, and the Dravidian. In Arabic, the word for hospital is mustashfa. A similar word, ashpez, is used in Hebrew in the verbal form to mean to hospitalize. In Hindi and most Indic languages of northern India, the word aspathal is used. And lastly, in Tamil and the Dravidian languages of southern India, the native word for hospital is aspathiri. In looking at this from a population perspective, over 1.5 billion people worldwide use one of these three words to refer to hospital in their native language. The word aspatal is used by approximately 800 million speakers of the Indic languages. About 300 million Dravidian speakers use the word aspathiri in Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, and Malayalam. And finally, about 400 million Arabic and Urdu speakers use the word mustashfa or mustashfat. While our English word hospital does not have a satisfying etymology, the three native words for hospital have clear and distinct morphological explanations that perfectly align to a single theme. The word aspatal in the Indic languages is morphologically defined as cobra hood house. In each of the four Dravidian languages, aspathiri literally translates to cobra hood candle. And finally, the morphological analysis of mustashfa in Arabic yields cobra hood help. Now let us review the roots in each of these three source words. The compound word aspatal breaks up to its roots as aspa, pata, and al. The Dravidian word has roots aspa, pati, and tiri. And finally, the Arabic word mustashfa has roots musta, ashfa, and fat. The etymological studies of the three words reveal that these native words have more or less the same literal meaning and they have a single origin. Following our discussions here with unquestionable clarity, we will conclude that aspatal and mustashfa are cognates derived from the source word aspathiri, and the English word is a borrowing of the Hindi word aspathal. Now let us analyze each of these three native words in their respective linguistic traditions, starting with mustashfa. The first root musta is part of a common traditional Arabic phrase, Allahu Mustan, which means Allah is the one sought for help. Here, musta means help or source of help. In addition, the earliest attested usage of the word musta is in the Quran, Surah 12 Joseph and verse 18. When the brothers had brought Joseph's shirt stained with fake blood, their father Jacob responded to them by saying, Wallahu al Mustanu. The phrase literally means, God alone is my help in what you describe. From these examples, we see that the word musta means help or source of help. The second root in mustashfa is ashfa, which means cobra, an elapid snake. This is a mysterious word with variants such as asp, aspa, and aspa. The derivatives and remnants of this root appear in many modern words in the Indo-European, Afro-Asiatic, and Dravidian languages. As a freestanding word, it had become mostly extinct since antiquity, even prior to the writings of Iliad, Odyssey, Bible, and all Vedic literature. The asp had remained as an essential base word even in several extinct languages, beginning with the origins of speech. However, the linguistic variants of the word ashfa now exist in many languages in the Western world, South Asia, and North Africa. Without us even realizing, the root asp remains embedded in many words of common usage. The city of Aspen, Colorado, gets its name from the aspen tree, which in turn had gotten it from the asp, the cobra. The word aspen means asp like or in the nature of asp. The aspen tree has unique characteristics that compare closely to the cobra and hence the name. From the aspen in Colorado to the asphyxia and asparagus in the Old Persian Avestan Elamite to the aspathiri in the Dravidian India, the root asp remains at the core of many words. Above all, asp is one of the oldest words that can be morphologically traced to the very origins of human speech in the proto language. The asp is a distinct root that is common to all three source words for hospital. That brings us to the last root in mustashfa, the word fa or fat. Its linguistic variants are pat in the Sanskrit and other Indic languages and patti in the Dravidian languages. The Sanskrit and other dictionaries define fat or fata as the expanded hood of the cobra. In addition, two variant forms of this word appear in Biblical Hebrew as patan and feten to refer to the cobra. Also, the Egyptian pharaohs had an element worn on their headpiece called the uraeus, which was the image of an expanded hood of a rearing cobra, or the foot of an asp. Having all three roots explained, the compounding of them yields mustashfa or mustashfut, which literally means cobra hood help. The word is native to the entire region, starting from Libya all the way to Pakistan and parts of India. With the mustashfa mystery resolved, let us move on to the analysis of the Hindi word aspathal. The word is common to about 10 Indo-Iranian languages of northern India, which we refer to as Indic languages. They all have Sanskrit as their ancestor. The roots in aspathal are aspat and al, each one with a clear and distinct morphological definition. It's interesting to note that these three base words have crude and primitive hunter-gatherer origins. The English dictionaries define asp as the cobra. The word asp is not used in Sanskrit literature or in Hindi. Perhaps it was already extinct by then. But the amazing fact is that Sanskrit language can provide a clear and complete morphological definition for the word asp. The second root pat, along with its variants, is common to Arabic, Old Hebrew, and all Indic and Dravidian languages. Pat or Fatah in its original form means the expanded hood of the cobra, as described in the Sanskrit dictionaries. And thirdly, the Sanskrit and Hindi dictionaries define the word al as a house. Combining the meanings of the three roots provide a literal and prescriptive definition for aspathal as cobra hood house or a cobra bite healing house. Among the three Arabic-Indic-Dravidian source words discussed here, the aspathal is phonologically closest to hospital. Since the English word does not have a satisfactory etymology and the Hindi word has a clear and distinct literal definition, the word hospital in English is a borrowing of aspathal. And that brings us to the analysis of the third source word aspathiri. The word is common to all four languages of southern India, the Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, and Malayalam, all descending from the proto-Dravidian. These four, along with other Dravidian languages, are believed to have evolved independent of the Indo-European linguistics. There are strong linguistic and historical reasons to believe that the aspathal in Hindi is a borrowing and a modified assimilation of the word aspathiri from southern India. The reason being that aspathiri is cruder and more unrefined relative to aspathal and mustashfa, and it appears to be the earliest word form. Also, the cobra bite treatment systems and practices have been verifiably prevalent in the Dravidian region of Kerala. The roots in aspathiri are aspa, pati, and thiri, and we have already defined the first two base words under aspathal. And here we will continue with the third root element thiri. Thiri in all Dravidian languages means the candle, or specifically the oil wick candle. From prehistoric times, beginning with the invention of the candle itself, the thiri has remained a representation of a dwelling place. The root thiri, meaning candle, along with the word aspathiri, present to us a vivid depiction of the crude origins of language and human development. And now we can reasonably presume that the invention of the thiri candle at some point in the prehistoric period had revolutionized human development, much like the introduction of the light bulb or the creation of the internet. Thus, we see that aspathiri in the Dravidian languages literally means a cobra hood candle, which had evolved into a cobra hood house in the Indic languages in later times. Snakebite poisoning, and particularly cobra bites, remained a significant safety threat to our ancestors. Snake bites mostly happened during the dusk and into the night hours. The oil wick candle or the thiri at the poison treatment houses perhaps were kept burning through the nights. Also, traditionally, the cobra bite patients had to stay at the practitioner's house or in adjacent living quarters while they were being treated. Many of our ancestors might have died of cobra bite poisoning, and they may have killed many cobras as well. We have strong historical evidences that cobra bite poisoning treatment existed in Kerala from the antiquities and even going back several millennia into the prehistoric. We will discuss this in a future posting. The hospital is only the beginning of our linguistic adventures. We have many fossil words buried in our daily vocabulary, most of them perhaps rooted in that single African proto language. Thus, we see that aspathiri is the most ancient and crude word form among the three Arabic-Indic-Dravidian roots of the word hospital. The word remains the same in all Dravidian languages, and there was no reborrowing of the refined aspathal back into the Dravidian languages. There are pre 300 BCE archaeological evidences for highly established traditional hospital systems that had existed in Sri Lanka. Above all, those same old poisoning treatment practices and traditions still exist in Kerala, though to a much lesser extent. It is amazing indeed. The word hospital is a borrowing of aspathal in Hindi, and aspathal is a refined adoption of aspathiri. Aspathal, aspathiri, and mustashfa. They all have almost the same literal and morphological definitions. The asp, meaning the cobra, is the primary theme word or root in hospital. The word asp comes from the prehistoric single origin African proto language, from the hunter gatherer period of human development. Seems hard to believe, but the fact remains unquestionable. The hospital originated in the cobra bite poisoning treatment. Our story does not end in the source word aspathiri. We are at the halfway stop. In our next posting, we will present the ultimate origin of asp, taking you back to 50,000 years ago to the very origins of human speech. In the meantime, let us remind ourselves that the aspathiri was in fact the perfect and ultimate model of charity. May we each radiate that brotherhood spirit of our pre civilization ancestors. We wish you the best in deconstructing the past from linguistics. Bye to you and hasta la vista.